It appears that the SaberSpark situation has reached a very critical boiling point, and while I typically don't double dip on topics, this one is somewhat important to update on to try to clear up as much information as possible. So in this video, I'll try to deliver a concise and quick update on all recent developments, starting with the allegations and the motivations behind these allegations. On May 1st, an anonymous individual came forward with their testimony against SaberSpark. These allegations recounted two separate incidents in which SaberSpark essayed them in between 2 years, claiming that they had been starstruck and went through with these interactions over a quote-unquote power dynamic. Since then, details of the situation have changed, and we may possibly know the identity of the individual as well. As it turns out, both of these incidents happened within the same year. We also know where these incidents allegedly took place, and we also know what motivated these allegations to be published, at least somewhat. If you want a full in-depth breakdown, check the link in the description for a deep dive. In an interview posted on March 5 featuring Kim Possible by Slug, we learned some very concerning information behind these allegations that cast a lot of doubt on the credibility of these claims. In this interview, KP, the individual who was responsible for making these allegations public, went on to explain that they had no evidence for their allegations, at least besides knowing that the victim was present at these events. They also claim that the reason they went through with publishing these allegations in the first place is because it sounded like something he'd do. I am not joking. And also, when asked if she knew these allegations wouldn't hold up under extreme scrutiny, she said it's fair, because she herself knew that these allegations don't have enough information to back them. Here are a few clips.
But as far as characterization, everything seemed to fit. Timeline.
Well, literally their evidence, characterization that this individual has, because this person feels like they would rape somebody. This story must be true. It's their only evidence. The reason why these idiots push this story, it's because they felt like he would be the type to do this.
Basically, the evidence that you were given was more personal circumstance and hearsay rather than like objective evidence.
So they had nothing. They had no reason to push these allegations. They literally had no reason to push these allegations besides, yeah, I feel like he'd do it.
If you were to say that this is something that needs to be taken with the utmost seriousness, despite no evidence, would you believe that it would be fair for people to disregard it entirely due to the lack of actual evidence?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. So even by her own standards, she's pushing allegations that she believes is entirely fair play to not take seriously at all. If you understand that it's completely fair for people to not take your allegations seriously at all, then why bring forward the allegations in the first place?
Have you received any other evidence, such as like even a screenshot or a call log or something of that sort, aside from the conversation or the testimonial?
If she says that she's received no more evidence, I'm going to lose it.
No, but I do have of something maybe happening, but I didn't really have enough information to really...
Oh my god. If you don't feel too confident about these allegations, if you're very skeptical, I don't blame you. These allegations were brought forward in the most irresponsible way possible, which only serves to detract from the serious allegations in the future. Is this a straight debunk of the allegations? No. There's no way to prove or deny that something did or didn't happen. I have to make that very clear. This is more so to help people not immediately cast guilt and see things from a more rational point of view. So not only were these allegations handled in a very immature and irresponsible way, they tacked it on at the end of an expose against DA Games as a sort of gotcha against SaberSpark for their association with Black Griffin. Despite Black Griffin having some serious allegations in his own right, simply associating with or defending a bad individual doesn't mean that you are more or less likely to be responsible for something terrible yourself. So when you take all of these factors into consideration, including these two excerpts right here, it's very easy to wonder, where did the motivation to bring these allegations come from exactly? Was it done as a takedown for someone who you feel is a terrible person, vindictively speaking, or was it because this person was genuinely responsible for a crime? Let's take a look at this tweet by the victim's anonymous account specifically. In this tweet, they say, "I have always remained quiet and felt I should never cause a problem by saying something, but when venting privately, I was encouraged to come forward." Now, I am speculating to be very clear, but there are many factors that could be at play here. Depending on who they converse with, how the conversation went, and what ideas were thrown around between these individuals, it's entirely possible that this person was encouraged to come forward with a motivation to take down SaberSpark for shady associations or other similar reasons. I am not saying this is the case, but it is a possibility to consider before anyone can begin to start assigning guilt. On May 7, an individual known as Casey came out against KP and heatedly criticized KP for their lack of due diligence, her incapability to vet her sources, and even dropped a lot of shade on the anonymous victim. This call-out letter, on its own, seems to come from a pretty negative place as well, so take it as you will. Since then, someone has gone through the effort to compile an information document in an attempt to prove that there is a real person behind these allegations, and that these allegations aren't just a fabricated fanfiction. This portion of the video is also based on a lot of circumstantial information and speculation, by the way, so be very careful of how you take this information and how you come to your conclusions. Without being too blunt, this document goes on to show information that heavily suggests that the anonymous victim in this case is an individual known as Imu Emi, which so happens to have a negative history as well in their own right. To be clear, that is not a claim that I am making, that's what this document suggests. The circumstantial evidence shown here are screenshots of Emi posting tweets around the same dates mentioned by the accuser, interacting with SaberSpark around the same time, and even attending the same events. In this video, I will not be commenting on the character of either SaberSpark or Imu Emi based on their histories or the people they've interacted with to avoid any conflicts, but what I do want to make is this argument. If it is true that the victim is Imu Emi, which is completely circumstantial right now, by the way, I have to make that really clear, then the argument of a power dynamic is incredibly unfair because both of these individuals were somewhat prolific back then in their own right. Take that with a grain of salt though. Obviously, come to your own conclusions. Take everything that I said in this video with a grain of salt. Make up your own minds. This is simply an update to the story to let everyone know that what the information at hand is now. Take all of this information as you will, but I implore everyone to be charitable to both SaberSpark and Imu Emi if it just so happens that they are a victim, based on the information at hand. If you want my full unfiltered opinion, check out the video linked in the description. That's all I got for today. If anything more comes up, I will make a full, comprehensive video on the topic. Thanks for watching. Later.